Good morning, everyone. It's November the 9th, 2024. It's been a long week. The election in the States is over now, and I think people are rather confused. They're woken up to a changed world with what's happened, and I don't want to really have to get into it, but I know one thing. With the results, I woke up and feel like oh yeah, I woke up with one heck of a hangover, and the hangover I think is going to be an extended hangover for a very long time with the results of this. And I'm thinking, yeah, I know, I've been drunk a couple of times and have had a pretty nasty hangover, which I haven't enjoyed. And yeah, but that was only for a few hours that I had to bear with a nasty hangover. But I think we're in for a long hangover and a long roller coaster ride for the next few years. So that's what I sort of want to say, because I think with what's going on in all the YouTube channels and social media all around the world and that, everyone's trying to plow their way through this hangover that we've all been left with, and trying to figure out where we're at this point. And so there's being lots said on social media all over. So all you have to do is plug into it. You don't have to plug into my channel. So, and like the world, I'm just plugging into social media to hear what's being said. So I'm just going to continue today with a little more of an update. And one of the updates is last week they were dismantling a camp in Vancouver, BC, which had been allowed to stay during the pandemic because everything was still so upside down, and it's time for them to move on. So that was being dismantled. And then Quebec here in Canada, right across our border, and of course the border's the river right here where I live. The bridge just goes across from one province to the other. On the Quebec side, they're dismantling another encampment for the homeless, and as the old arena is being torn down where they are because it's outdated. It was leaking roof and too hard to repair and would have cost too much, so they built another arena. So they just had this, so you couldn't have even housed the homeless in there. But again, they were allowed to camp temporarily due to the pandemic, these people, and so just on the property. And however, they need to be out of the way for the demolition, which has been planned before the pandemic but got delayed during the pandemic. So now they're planning on tearing the arena down. So they need some room to tear the arena down, and because something was planned there to be built before the pandemic too, to replace the arena, and of course everything was delayed, and all hardships with what we're seeing with the homeless population and all the other problems that we've been coming through, and the pandemic. So it's taken a little time to catch up on that. But last winter they did put up a small tent, like, well, I call them huts because they're just sort of round little tents for them, and they're all uniform. They're all the same tent, and it has to be cleaned around them and everything. And I know I did mention this last winter on my channel as well. And this was just in the parking lot as well, so at least people had a place to go and keep warm for the winter. So it was announced that they were going to do this again for the coming winter of 2024 and 25. So this winter, I'm not sure if they're going to get the building down prior to that dismantling, but they will have the parking lot there, and they said they are going to be putting up tents again. And then, however, after those so-called tents like huts were taken down for the summer, they moved their own tents, and trailers were moved in on the land around where the arena was. And according to the news channel on this, the police had 4 warrants out as well. When the camp was being dismantled, they arrested 7 people for various offenses, such as having guns and drugs that were found in the encampment that they put up as well, which is alarming, because we've talked about knives, and I presume they found knives as well in the encampment as well. And this is some of the things that we've been talking about here down in Lower Town, or I've certainly been talking about. And it's scary for us because the encampment is just over the bridge on the river here, and these people, and these homeless people, and all the homeless people do go back and forth across the river at the same time. So it's kind of scary to realize that there's weapons there close at hand too for all of us. So that's a relief. At least the police on the Quebec side were on the ball and got rid of those weapons and arrested 7 people apparently for that. For all these various charges, whatever was completely going on, I don't completely know, but we got a brief on it through the news channel that was good to hear. So at least for me, it's a relief. At least I know the weapons were at that camp, and those guns are not going to be on our streets here in Ottawa, just from across the river, because Hull and Gatineau and that we're just right across the river, and all it is a bridge right across the river for us to get both ways. So that was reassuring. And also our city is planning to put up temporary housing for refugees in a couple of our wards, that as these refugees are overcrowding our shelters. And of course the residents in these 2 wards that they're going to put up these temporary shelters are of course protesting and objecting to this as well. And even though they're being reassured that that their services and food will be right on the site as well for them, so they won't be having to try and get services that are not in those particular wards. They're going to bring the services to them, because we don't know where we're going to put everybody, and it's going to be a rough winter if we can't find places to house people as well. And how many people are going to be sleeping out in the cold? How many people are going to be surf couching? Again, are they going to, even with all the cameras in our building here, are they going to be risking coming in with the cameras as well? So it's a really big issue, and this is just one of the many issues with not only with our ward but all the wards of where we put all these people. And they're certainly concerned about the crime, etc., as what they're seeing and hearing from the media as well. So it's a huge problem with the homeless right now, and we certainly cannot get the housing built fast enough, unfortunately. And I can see, and when I'm talking about a long-term hangover, as in the beginning of the film, my video that I was talking about, one of these long-term hangovers could be the result of the new administration coming in the States, as if they're talking about deporting 15 to 20 million people from the country. Where are they going to go? They're going to be fleeing over our borders as well, so and which they have been in the past coming as well, and we've had to put a stop on our borders as well, and try and arrange with the states as well some kind of agreement. Will see if they can stop them on the other side. Well, I don't think this time they're going to be stopping them on the other side. And the problem is we live in a cold country. We have a very long border on the 49th parallel between the States and Canada. Yes, we have regular places where people have crossed before, but then again, I have to remind you of a video I put up last winter where for a mother, father, and 2 children, the taxi driver dropped them off right at the border, no place to go. They were walking in the snow, and of course they perished in the snow. There was 4 people who died, 2 children as well as their parents died. So what happens when they start crowding the border here with no access or people to see them coming over the border? I hate to see how many people are going to die in the middle of winter from the freezing cold here that we've got. And so I'm seeing a long-term hangover of the results of this, if this happens as well, because it's and as well as, even if they do make it to the cities and the towns, how are we going to manage this overflow? And if they put tariffs on all our stuff too, going across the border to the United States, how do we feed our own people and feed all these refugees coming in as well? Because most of them do not want to be deported back to Mexico, across their border at the south. So I see a long-term hangovers for us for the next while. So all I know is that I'm surrounded with good people, and we try to do things to help people in our immediate circle, as well as we do try to reach out to those that are looking and actually genuinely looking for help too. But there are a lot of good people, and my message is for all of us to hang in there, love each other, care about each other, definitely be safe, definitely watch your surroundings, and keep up hope, because there's hope. Where there's good people, where there's good things, even though there's so much bad around us right now, we'll get through it, as our ancestors have. But right now we're just going into possibly a very, very bad place. So this is what I have to say today. So everyone, take care, beware your surroundings, be safe, and we'll talk again soon. And bye-bye.